Hello everyone. Let's talk about linear and non-linear graphs now. So a linear function will have a constant rate of change, otherwise known as slope. So remember, constant just means the same. The slope needs to be the same for every part of the function. So let's talk about a graph first. Linear graphs will always have straight lines. Those lines should not have any curves in them, and they should not change direction. So let's look at each of these graphs. We're going to decide, are they linear, are they nonlinear? So this line goes straight up, no curves, no bends. So yes, this is straight, or this is linear. Looking at this one, this takes a curve to this, so no, it cannot be linear. This one goes straight down, so yes, this is linear. And last one, we got changes in direction in this, so no, this cannot be linear. In a table, linear tables have a constant rate of change. So how we figure out if the table is constant is that we have to look at all of the x values, see how they change. So all the x values change by the same amount, and all the y values change by the same amount. So if I look at a table, I'm going to look at what the x values are changing by every time. This is changing by 1. This is changing by 1. And this is changing by 1. If I go over this side, this is changing by 3. This is changing by 5 now, right? And then this is changing by 7. So since this is different every time, my slope is not constant, so this is not linear. If I go over to the second one here, I look at my x values again. This is changing by 1. This is changing by 1. This is changing by 1. This is changing by 2. This is changing by 2. This is changing by 2. Since everything is changing by the same amount on each side, this is linear. Last one over here, let's look at our x. This is changing by 7. And then we have this is changing by 19, and this is changing by, let's use our calculator to find that out. All I'm doing to figure this out is 64 minus 27. That is changing by 37. So already I can tell this is not changing at a constant rate. We'll do the right side anyways, just in case all these are changing by ones. So no, this is not a linear function because this is not changing by the same amount. Last one we're going to talk about is equations. Linear equations will be in the form y equals mx plus b. Little known, if b is 0, the equation is still linear. We're mostly paying attention to the x and the y in the equation. We need to make sure we just have y and an x. We can't have anything extra happening. We'll see what that means on the next page. So we're going to look at these equations. I want to see if they're linear. So I have y equals 2x plus 6. That's in my form y equals mx plus b. So yes, this is linear. Next up, y equals x squared minus 9. All right. It is not in my y equals mx plus b form because I have this squared part to it. So no, this cannot be linear. Y equals negative 8x. Remember, there's really a plus 0 on the end here. So since it follows the y equals mx plus b, this would be linear. Doesn't matter that the m is negative, doesn't matter that the b is 0. That's okay. We really want to pay attention to x and y. So this one says y cubed equals 5x plus 7. That does not follow y equals mx plus b. I need to have a y equals, not a y cubed. So this is not linear. All right, I want you to take a couple of minutes, pause the video, and do questions 1 through 6. We'll go over them in a second, so do those questions now. Okay, number 1, I have to figure out if the slope is constant in this. So I need to go through and see what each row changes by. So this is going up by 1, that's going up by 1, and that's going up by 1. This is going up by 10, that's going up by 10, that's going up by 10. So that means this is linear, and it's linear because it has a constant slope or rate of change. Next up we have a graph. If it's linear, it will look like a straight line. So this is a straight line, there's no bends, there's no curves, so yes, this is linear. Why is it linear? Because it is a straight line. Number 3, got this graph right here. I want to know if it's linear. Does it look like a line? No, it is bending and curving, so this is not linear because it is not a straight line. Number 4, not our last one, we got another page. We got y equals negative 5x plus 10. For this to be linear, it needs to be in the form y equals mx plus b. Since I can match each of these parts to part of my y equals mx plus b, this is linear because it is in y equals mx plus b form. Alright, next page. We got a table, we got an equation. Let's talk about the table first. I need to make sure these are all changing by the same values every time. So this is going down by 1. That's going down by 1. This is going up by 4. This is going up by 6. So since this is not the same, it is not linear. Our reasoning is there is not a constant slope. Number 6. If this is a linear equation, it will be in the form y equals mx plus b. I am seeing y equals 10x squared plus 9, so I do not have a squared in this original equation, so this cannot be linear because it is not in y equals mx plus b form. If you have questions on that, please let me know. You can always try the star questions. Let me know if you want to check them. Otherwise, have a great day.